All right, Nick, let's talk about the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. National Signing Day is coming around. Everybody's talking about the new recruits, the new transfers that they're getting. But let's talk about something a little bit different than the Irish have done that is very smart, and that is the signing of a new coach that we think is going to be massive for this team going forward. Let's get into the article and we can talk about it on the other side. This is from over on Outkick.com. Says Mike Denbrock will once again return to the sidelines of South Bend as an offensive coordinator for Notre Dame. Reports emerged on Friday that Denbrock will soon begin his third separate coaching tenure with the team. He coached at Notre Dame from 04 to 06, came back in 2010 to 2016, and then Denbrock brings decades of offense experience or expertise back to Notre Dame, something head coach Marcus Freeman sorely needs. His LSU offense put up ridiculous numbers in the 2023 campaign. Not only did the Tigers lead the nation in total offense with 547.8 yards per game, they also led the nation in scoring at 46.4 points per game. Jaden Daniels won the Heisman, posting one of the best quarterback seasons in recent memory. So yeah, this guy knows how to run an elite offense, something which the Irish were looking for. Denbrock will at least have the quarterback situation figured out. Riley Leonard transferred to South Bend from Duke and figures to be a strong leader from under center. So, Nick, I think this sounds like what we wanted to happen when Sam Hartman came to Notre Dame. We wanted some guy to come in, be a strong veteran presence, come into an offense and start to score a whole bunch of points. They might just not have had the right system. I think Denbrock comes in, he brings a very successful system. He obviously loves Notre Dame. He's been back and forth there a million times. I think this is a really good fit, and I like Riley Leonard coming from Duke to Notre Dame as well. He was very impressive at Duke, so I think this could be a big, big move for the Fighting Irish. I'm curious what your thoughts are on this, Nick, but Irish fans, let us know in the comments below. What do you think about Mike Denbrock, and what do you think about the offense he brings? This LSU offense, obviously nothing short of incredible this past season. Are you excited? Let us know in the comments below. But Nick, what are your thoughts on the Fighting Irish and the hiring of Mike Denbrock?
Well, first of all, let's do a little compare contrast. So Notre Dame, and I got the stats pulled up in front of me last season, had average 429 yards of offense and 39 points per game. That's really, really good. LSU averaged 548 yards per offense and 46 points per game, right? So that's leaps and bounds better as an average. So in terms of upgrade, in terms of potential offense, obviously Denbrock can bring that to the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. But I do think the biggest challenge that Notre Dame faced this past season was that offensively, they dominated teams where they had superior talent. But when it came to those big games, those big moments, I'm thinking Ohio State, I'm thinking Clemson. They didn't really show up. I'm thinking Louisville, right? Against teams that had better talent, or at least comparable talent, I should say, to Notre Dame, the offense didn't show up the way they needed it to. That's one of the things Denbrock can bring, because we've seen the production that LSU had and in the SEC, right? And this is against Alabama's. This is against the Ole Misses, right? This is against Texas A&M, which was a very talented roster. These were against SEC talented defenses that Denbrock and Jaden Daniels and LSU were putting up these video games numbers against. And that's exactly what Notre Dame needs, because obviously the SEC, certainly SEC West that Denbrock's coming from, is laced with talent. You look at kind of the top 5 teams in that division, they're all relatively the same, give or take a little bit talent level. And Denbrock was still able to drive that LSU offense far and above expectations. That's what Freeman's hoping for here, for him to replicate at Notre Dame. In those matchups where there's a relatively even level of talent, can he drive the offense? And I think he really will, because he's one of those guys that understands how to unlock quarterback scoring, because that's how the college football game has become. You've got to create a system that allows your quarterback to put up a lot of points, whether it's running, whether it's design runs, scrambles, different passing schemes. Everything has to be geared for the quarterback to put up a lot of points. I think that was the one issue with Hartman. He's much more of a traditional style quarterback, or was for Notre Dame, I should say, in terms of he wants to manage the game, distribute the football, things like that, which is great at the NFL level. But in the college level, you need a guy that's going to put up a lot of points. You need a guy who's going to carry your offense. Denbrock recognized that at LSU. He let Daniels do that. Daniels went all the way to the Heisman Trophy. I think they're hoping a lot of the same thing can happen to South Bend, and based on Denbrock's performance with the LSU Tigers, I see no reason why you couldn't replicate it.
Yeah, and I think, further in the article, it talks about Riley Leonard coming. I think Denbrock has his guy in Riley Leonard, a guy who's gone up against a bunch of tough competition at what some would say a lower tier school, Duke, and they show up to fight the tougher competition. They beat Clemson this year. They took it to Notre Dame. They took it to FSU. This was a team who was very, very feisty, and they could put up some points against some of the better teams in their division. So, Nick, I think that the matching of Denbrock and Riley Leonard is really good for the right now, but obviously the hiring of Denbrock is going to be good for the future of Notre Dame. I'm excited for them to get their identity back. I want people to fear the gold helmets when they get onto the field. This is an offense that can come and throw up a million points against anybody, doesn't matter who it is, but also a defense, hard-hitting discipline, suffocating in a sense. This is what we want from the Fighting Irish. So I think this is really good hire by this team. I think Freeman had really got this right. I think this is going to, like it said, take a lot of pressure off of him. He cannot have to worry about what the offense is going to do all the time. So I think Notre Dame next year, they're going to look really good. And I'm excited to see what Mike Denbrock brings to the table in terms of what offensive firepower Notre Dame could possibly have.
And just one final point to end on, and you keep bringing this up, and I think it's a great point, is that Leonard, the transfer quarterback coming up to South Bend, stylistically plays kind of similar to Jaden Daniels. He ran the football a lot with designed runs at Duke, right? He was a guy who was known more as a playmaker at the quarterback position, not a traditional Hartman-esque pocket kind of passer. So again, they got a great pairing of offensive coordinator who knows how to unleash a playmaking style quarterback, and they're bringing in a playmaking style quarterback with a lot of experience. And here's the other thing. Daniels was a transfer to LSU, so Denbrock handled a transfer, a veteran guy, grown up in Daniels, and allowed him to a lot of success. It seems like they're trying to replicate that here at Notre Dame with the pairing of Denbrock and Leonard. And like I said, there's no reason I think that they couldn't get it done. And I think a lot of teams are kind of sleeping on Notre Dame for the future right now. I think this team has a chance to be a legitimate top 5, top 6 power going into 2024.